To be honest, the spread market for the last 6 years has not actually moved very much. There aren't many new markets. It's consolidated around 4-5 spread betting companies, but a few big American and Israeli and Cypriot forex companies have sidled into the market to a certain extent. But still, the big players, London Capital Group, Capital Spreads, IG, City Index, and CMC are still very much the rulers of the roost.
And how do you see a future when it comes to sort of trading the markets?
Well, I see a very strong future. Obviously, in the last 2 or 3 months, the pension funds have been deregulated to a certain extent. So people are now able to invest their own money, some, not all their own money, of course, that would be foolish, but a certain percentage of, and a certain percentage, 10% of the huge pension pots is a large sum of money. And I would expect a certain amount of that to be put into CFDs and spread betting as a perfectly reasonable way for people to trade with a certain amount of their own money. And that on top of the normal excitement and desires of people to trade the markets should lead it to a reasonable growth period for the market as a whole.
Slightly different question, but what can the market do to try and tap into that 10%?
It's marketing, it's advertising, getting onto the IFAs, getting routes into those kind of introducers. There's a steady flow of clients who come through, just open accounts through the marketing, through the SEO on the web, and all that kind of stuff. But I would expect that the IFA route is probably going to be a source of revenue for the industry. Of course, there has to be very strong risk warnings attached to it, because the IFAs don't want to introduce their clients to something that's not going to do them any good. But as long as everybody's aware of the risks that they're getting into and that they can make money and they can lose money, then it's as far as I can see, that's perfectly reasonable.
Well, so how's the industry now? How's it doing? What's its health?
The state of the industry is not what it was sort of 4 or 5 years ago. It was very strong in the 2007 to 2009, 2010 period. There's a lot of volatility, a lot of excitement in the market. People still were doing reasonably well. In the last 3-4 years, people have been stretched a bit. Certainly the middle classes have been stretched, and the middle classes are, let's be honest, the ABC ones are the arena which the spread betting and CFD and foreign exchange companies pull most of their clientele. And as most of the taxes, etc., of the tax hikes of recent years have fallen on that segment, it's definitely been tough. But it's moving a little bit more favourably now, and I would see that we'll see the last 3 years as being just a plateauing, the opposite of plateauing, I guess, flattening at the bottom of the market, and it should start to come out of that in the next few years.
I mean, just based on that sort of philosophy, how difficult would it be for a new player, a broker now, to just get going up and running?
It's actually for new entrants into the market, it's quite difficult. You have to get regulatory approval. The capital requirements for opening a business now are much higher than they were in the past. The prices now that are quoted by all the spread betting companies and CFD companies, although some of them are slightly wider than others, they're all very tight. So there's no easy unique selling point, USP, for anybody to come in with. So it's very difficult to imagine somebody's actually going to come in unless they've got a big client base already. So for instance, I'm going to suggest somebody like Bet360 or somebody like that, who already has a huge client base and might want to go into that market, or maybe one of the big banks that isn't already in it but has a stockbroking arm, they might want to come in. But a small broker starting up as a startup, it's very difficult. And in all honesty, there hasn't been one since London Capital Group in 2003. There's been people have come, but they've never hit the critical mass required in the UK. There have been ones from outside, Israel, Cyprus and the United States, and they've moved in. But in the UK, small ones opening up has been few and far between.